Hey, Watford fans, another quick match reaction from me today. I wasn't attending at Vicarage Road. I chose to watch this one from home. Watford being defeated in the Carabao Cup 2-1 by Norwich City. And I'm going to approach this reaction in two parts, really, talking about the first half and the second half very much as separate entities, because I have to say, watching that first 45 minutes from a Watford perspective was absolutely abhorrent. It was probably the worst performance we've put up in the first half for well over a year. It reminded me back when we had Roy Hodgson in charge of Watford. There was no real identity. I couldn't really see a clear system Watford were playing. The players looked confused. Norwich City had so much energy. They were pressing really high. I mean, their centre-backs at times were actually playing so high. They were actually over the halfway line. And in Watford's half, we really struggled to deal with the press. Both their goals actually come from Watford getting quite easily dispossessed in midfield and in defence. Hector Cipriani playing at centre-back today due to some injuries we have at the club currently. He was dispossessed for one of the goals. Papa Diallo for Norwich, of course, they hijacked him joining Watford in the summer transfer window. I have to say, I felt sorry for Ryan Andrews at that time. I know he come through the academy a few years ago and has developed into what you would call a first team player, but he was made to look like a 17, 18-year-old child today by Papa Diallo. It was such a poor performance by Ryan Andrews, and it wasn't really a surprise to me to see Jeremy Ngakia come on in the second half. As I said, both goals for Norwich. Really good work from them, great energy shown. They knew what they were doing. Watford looked disjointed, we looked confused. And it was a real surprise to me, actually, because the team we saw in the first half wasn't made up of under 18s and under 21s players, bar Jack Reeves, you could argue. It was made up, actually, of first team players that played regularly for the club last season, talking about the likes of Andrews, Selvik, Tom Delly, Kayembe. The list goes on, really. It was a really, disgraceful performance in the first half. I don't want to go overboard because, as I said, I wanted to draw as many positives from this game as possible. It was a game I expected to lose. If I was Paolo, I would treat this more so as an additional pre-season game. But yeah, I certainly wasn't expecting that level of performance in the first half. It certainly, though, did improve looking ahead to the second half. The substitutions at half-time clearly made a massive impact. The quality difference really showed straight away. Kevin Caben, a rock in defence, is so calm and composed on the ball. Imran Louza coming into midfield, of course, in place of Tom Deli Bashiru. Louza constantly looking forward to progress the ball, whereas for me, I feel Tom Deli, watching him on TV in that first half, he's not really got the confidence to progress the ball up the pitch. He's always looking behind him and passing back to the fullbacks or centre-backs. And to have Loser come on and want to play forward was really refreshing. And in Ngakia, I've mentioned already. Ryan Andrews, look, I don't want to dig him out time and time again on here because that's unfair on him. But I've said it before and I will say it once again. I do think the club should, if they can, in the last weeks of the window, look to get him a loan to a lower league club or even a club abroad. I think a new environment and a new kind of fresh set of eyes for Ryan Andrews could benefit him greatly. And in Ngakia, for all the flaws he has, which I pointed out before, he was, times 10 the player Ryan Andrews was today. Ngakia made such a difference down that right-hand side, both offensively and defensively. Kwadwo Bar, when he come on, was superb as well. Nestri Iran Kinder, I've got to mention him. He was electric today. He really showed actually the potential he has. And for me, he's actually a must start against QPR this weekend. Kwadwo Bar took his goal superbly well. Most notably as well, he was actually playing on the left-hand side at that point as well. We spoke in interviews with the Watford Observer suggesting he actually likes and prefers playing over on that left-hand side. A great incisive first-time pass from Imran Louza. He played KB through, who was running onto the ball, and a nice near-post finish with his left foot as well. So I think for me, the first half very, very negative. I was almost depressed actually at times watching Watford in that first 45. But the second half certainly was a marked improvement. And that is the Watford team I would like to see against Queen's Park Rangers this weekend. The first half, I'm going to forget about for now. Hopefully, we don't see another reoccurrence of that this season. But yeah, positives to take. I think we need to move on from this as quickly as possible. Of course, there'll be fans that go overboard with this defeat and are probably calling for the manager's head already. But as I said before, and I'll say it again, patience is needed. Let's back the boys, the manager, and the club for as long as we feasibly can. And hopefully we'll go on to have a really good season. I think Watford at the moment are probably being hampered by the number of injuries we had. Caleb Wiley and Uthman Lamar nowhere to be seen in the match days squad today. Matty Pollock is missing, Pierre Duomo, Rocco Vata, James Abankwa. We've got a massive injury list already, and we're only 2 games into the season. So yeah, once again, patience, be calm, we good. And yeah, looking forward to QPR this weekend, which we can judge the team more fairly on, I feel, when our better players are featuring in the first 11. So let me know your thoughts in the comments section down below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and keep an eye out in the next few days for our QPR match preview. Bye-bye.